Oh, yeah. Mhm. Just thinking about my prerogative, my unquestionable right to know where my sons are at. To pull them out of school and to employ tutors to educate them to where they should be at because they're 2 years behind where they should have been at. Yeah. I think the state of Washington will actually have to compensate me as a father. And I think that every state of the United States that has knowledge of the fraud of the state of Washington refusing to enforce the laws, yeah, they will have to compensate me. Mhm. Now, I had quite a few screen prints that I haven't gone through that happen to have something to do with care that the laws be faithfully executed. The Air Force had done something. You might remember these. Yes. I told you that when you issued the dismissal where you said I was incompetent, when you sat there for a year and 3 months knowing I wasn't in Brennan and that the content of my emails, yes, from before June 16th of 2017 were not lewd and lascivious, yeah, they weren't threatening. Oh. I was telling you that you issued court orders where there's fraud, forgery, yes, disguise, misrepresentation, yes. Now, this is an emergency, okay? Authority to employ military force to impose martial law is problematic since the Constitution, yes. Now, there could be some militia groups that call themselves sheriffs or police officers that are in the family that thought, well, what we're doing is more important than the actual rights of American citizens. And then there's the doomsday cults, yeah. And then the right wing hate groups, to name a few, U.S. Constitution, Article 2, Section 3. Yeah. I verified and I have reviewed this information. Now, let me give you an example. There are a few in this county that thought, well, we're going through kind of a takeover of the United States, and even though I, as a citizen, inform you that it's against the law to issue court orders where you don't do what the RCW state, yeah. This authority to call forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, the RCWs of the state, yes. Federal legislation. It, it looks to me like the military's really doesn't understand my prerogative. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Pooch. Action painting. A style of painting where paint is often smeared or dribbled to give a thickly textured surface. Yes. Now, for every actual building of the federal government, most of them are made of brick or concrete. Yeah. Mhm. Let's say that I decided I owned them. Pooh. Because there wasn't a federal employee. Now, I have a large amount of garbage that I can heat up to, 2 to 3,000 degrees using a steam generator and an HHO gas autoclave. Yeah, it actually produces more electricity than what it uses. hmm And when you use super high temperature steam at that temperature, it causes the plasticity of the garbage to separate. I can filter it and strain it so that it's 100% clear. Yeah. It's really nice when you get to looking at it because using high temperature steam, yes. Now it could be salt water, or it could be salt water that's been desalinated. Then it could be fresh water, and probably is the fresh water. Now let's say I heated up some garbage to about 3,000 degrees. Yes, using steam. Yeah. Caused a separation so that it became a type of slurry. I remove all the metal out of it using a type of magnetized process. Yes. And then I filter it out so that any of the fibers from the other garbage is removed. So the plastic is 100% clear. Yeah. I cool it using a steam generator. and I produce a tremendous amount of electricity. The byproduct of that is a substance that is similar to tar. Have you ever seen hot roof before, where they bring in a boiler and they throw in some tar into a boiler? Yes, they heat it up and they kind of spray it on the top of a flat roof so as to seal it so that it doesn't leak. Yeah. Instead of it being a tar substance, it's actually made from garbage. I decide to spray each and every federal building of the United States using my technology. Yes. And then I use solar film. Yeah. At approximately, 2 to 300 degrees. Yes. Then I use a satellite system called Gamma. Yes. It causes buildings to sparkle. Gamma is a satellite technology that separates the light of sunlight. Yes, it does. It attracts sunlight. It's kind of an odd technology. But what you do is you put in a layer, maybe a quarter inch thick around the whole building. Yes. So that there will not be any cracking on any of the masonry. Yes, yes, yes. And then you put in solar film on the parts of the building that have direct sunlight. Yeah. You put a very small thin wire between the solar film. Yeah. You gamma the whole thing, and then you put on another quarter inch thickness of the clear plastic sealant. Yes. Made from recycled garbage. Now, the whole building that receives direct sunlight will produce a tremendous amount of electricity that every federal building that's paying for electricity now becomes super energy efficient. Yes. And what happens is what you were spending on your electrical costs become mine. Now, I'm going to obligate the federal government to seal every building in the United States and anywhere else in the world, and then purchase my technology so as to produce solar energy that is going to be used to offset the cost of what you're paying for electrical costs. Yes. And this is good for, 40, 50 years considering the temperature of the recycled garbage. Yeah. Now, let's say the military is involved in my life and they refuse to enforce the actual laws, and there's a certain general that said, well, we just can't give them his sons. Oh, I will sue every general of the United States military. I'll sue every fucking one of you. I don't give a shit.